You're about to see
10 different chefs
from 10 different countries
making coffee.
French people love coffee. We start drinking coffee at a young age, like 13, 14, we start to drink coffee. It's in our DNA, in our tradition. In the French press, the coffee is fully steeped in the water, fully immersed in the water for a long period of time. This method the coffee to bring more oil and more body flavor from your coffee ground. Okay, so here we have a beautiful coffee ground that I just grounded a few minutes ago. Colombian coffee, that's my favorite. I don't grind it too fine, because if more fine, you may have some passing through the filter. So I'm just gonna add 2 spoons of the coffee, 2 big spoons. 1, 2. You have a filter at the bottom, so it keeps all the oil into the coffee instead of having a paper filter that will absorb the oil of the coffee. So it's a perfect procedure to keep full body flavor of your coffee. We want to have the water at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the right temperature to extract the flavor. If you boil it, you're gonna disrupt the flavor of the coffee. That's it. So we're just gonna leave it like that for 5 or 6 minutes to extract the flavor of the coffee. So I'm making café au lait. So I'm just warming up the milk, but I'm just whisking a little bit gently because I want to have a little bit of foam on top of my coffee, almost like a cappuccino. So now it's been 5 minutes. We don't want to push it too fast because if you do, the coffee ground may come out the filter and you're gonna end up drinking coffee ground in your cup and that's not pleasant. So we're just gonna go slowly. I'm just scooping the foam because I like the foam, like the cappuccino. So what I use here is a French traditional bowl. It's very wide and it's deep because there's one thing that French people love to do, is to dip it. You dip your croissant, you dip your pain au chocolat, your tartines, your baguette. You see, you dip it. Delicious.
I'm going to go straight to the point. We don't do coffee in Nigeria, we do Nescafe. It's really very popular. The best place to get a Nescafe is to go to the Malam. They have this small kiosk where everybody sits like a big giant dining table. You all sit around in the morning. They make the Nescafe, the egg, and the bread. So I'm going to show you how a good Malam make coffee in Nigeria. Okay, this is how we make the Nescafe. Maybe 1 or 1.5. Then sugar. I always think there's something special about the Malam coffee or Nescafe until I realized it just had too much sugar. Then we use carnation milk. Since most of us are lactose intolerant, we really don't know because we never have real milk until when somebody like me gets to America and I start having milk. That's when my doctor told me I'm lactose intolerant. Okay. So I have to stir it a little. This is how the Malam do it, and the purpose of this is to cool the tea down. So, and it just do it like this. Forgive me, guys, I'm not doing it right way. This is what I mean by that. You see this pour? It can be very long, like really, really long. And sometimes they do it like that. So when you mix it around, you even allow the sugar, the milk, everything to blend very well together. Oh my God, you take me back to Nigeria. God damn it. Perfect. I'm not lying. This thing takes a very, very authentic Malam. I love it.
I think of an American coffee as something where you'll walk into a place and you'll say, I'd like a cup of coffee. They'll pour coffee in a cup and you'll doctor it up how you like it. Okay, let's do it. I really like to use whole beans. This is mocha java. As it says, it's ripe blackberry, warm, plum, honey. And then you want to make sure that it's ground enough. I would describe this as a fine grind, but not super fine like an espresso, because this espresso would need to be very fine to be compressed into that a small amount of water that's going through it. The reason this needs to be not as fine as espresso is because the water is dripping through the filter and it's spraying almost. It's like a mist over the ground. So it's not being compressed. So you don't need to grind it as fine. My measurement here is I always like to do 2 tablespoons heaping for 1 cup. I made a cup earlier and I'm a little wired right now, but that looks good. That's 1, 2, 3, and a little extra for good luck. Then we close this baby up and then we hit brew and start. How the drip coffee machine works is you pour the cold water in the water reservoir, and then there's a filter here where you put the coffee in, and the water basically boils from the bottom up. And when it reaches the filter, then it sprays that water over the top of the coffee. It's really nice and dark. If it's too light in the pot, you know you made a weak cup of coffee. And I like a little half and half on mine, just a splash. Regular milk or full fat milk is nice, but it doesn't have that luxurious, rich, kind of creamy taste. That's good. Nothing beats that first taste. If you're an American and you grew up with this in your parents' house or in a diner or whatever, it's very nostalgic and it's very memorable and it's a very spiritual kind of experience.
So siphon style coffee is popular coffee style in Japan, especially in a kissaten, this kind of cafe all over Japan, where you can just go in, order coffee, just relax and unwind yourself sometimes. Siphon coffee is partially ceremonial and tastes really good. The bean that I'm gonna be using today is gonna be 50% malleable. It's gonna have a nice sour acidity and at the same time very smooth and a little bit milky texture. It is absolutely important for you to grind a coffee precisely. Right now, I'm grinding for 15 grams for 250 milliliters of hot water coffee. If it's too much, you're gonna have a bitterness, a sourness coming out a lot. But if it's too less, it's gonna obviously taste a little watery. So we're gonna grind this coffee to slightly coarse, but still fine. This is a kind of consistency I'm looking for. I think it is right in the middle between espresso to French press. Not too fine, but not too coarse. Just enough for water to pass through and brew it properly. Now, coffee is grounded. I'm gonna set up the siphon. This is the top part of the siphon. This is a filter, and it's important to wet this so that the water is gonna be going through and it's slightly been cooling down. And there's gonna be a hook here. So I hook it onto this. This keeps it filtered in place, and once the pressure comes up, this is gonna be pulled, and the coffee is gonna be going down. And this is where we put the beans. Now, I'm gonna measure water into this one. This is an electric heating siphon, which I like how it heats up better than the traditional alcohol lamp. To me, it heats up a little inconsistent. This is called vacuum brewing because the bottom and the top is gonna have an open glassware and the bottom is gonna be sealed glassware. And now you're gonna have a pressure differences on top and the bottom. So this is how you bring up the water to the top and then brew the coffee and strain it down again. So the center filter that I placed in top bowl, the cloth with the chain, that cloth part is actual filter, and so that it prevents from coffee ground to go inside the bottom. Now I'm gonna set this, and as soon as I set this, the water is gonna start coming up to the top. Then I'm gonna start mixing it. This is so that the coffee grounds are touching water evenly. After I mix it 20 seconds or so, I'm gonna turn off the heat. I'm gonna do final stir. And then it's gonna naturally comes down. So right now, the coffee is going down little by little. And this is the brewing process of a coffee that's finished. Aromatics are not properly gonna be captivated by hot water if you are not doing it proper way. It's just as the same as when you make drip coffee, you just dump water versus you slowly pour water into a coffee beans makes total differences on coffee taste. It does the same thing for the siphon. When the process itself is very soothing to see, so you can watch and relax. When you're going to the kissaten and the barista is making this in front of you, you're gonna have a very happy moment. He's watching this. I'm going to drink this siphon coffee in black without any milk or sugar. It's because I wanted to enjoy how the beans were produced and how it was roasted, how it was grounded, and to enjoy the maximal potential and aromatic and the flavor of the coffee itself. First, you enjoy the aroma that coming from a cup, and then after they enjoy the conversation with the friends or barista, now we're gonna have a sip. いただきます。美味しいです。
In Algeria, they're obsessed with coffee. They love coffee. They love sugar and coffee. So the way that we make our coffee, it's very special. It's super strong, super sweet. It's called Mazran. Mazran is a town in Algeria. It's actually the first iced coffee in the world, yeah. Like the soldier used to make them back in the days in Algeria during, the colonization. They used to do it iced so they can add some little rum into it. So how do we make it? So I use this coffee machine, very old school. You're adding water inside the bottom, and that is just coffee filter, and you're adding the coffee inside, and of course Algerian coffee. Very important, very strong. So I'm gonna add 2 spoons of coffee. It's not only strong, but it has a chocolate taste. It's very fine because it's for espresso. So then we're gonna put the second part of the coffee. It's kind of old, but they make the best coffee. Like I still don't understand all the new coffee machine. It's not for me. Medium low, because otherwise it can go super fast and then it can overflow. So the steam forces the water through the coffee, and then the coffee will start brewing. So you have a little cheminée inside that tells you when it's gonna come up. Cheminée is like the way that the water is gonna escape. Chimney, chimney. You hear it? Yeah, I hear it. I see it, and it's coming up. I like to open it to cool it off because we're gonna do it iced. So the next step, I like to always pour the hot coffee into a different mug. Voilà. See the color? Like a chocolate color. Yes, very thick. So I'm gonna do 4 ice cubes. I am going to add the sugar now because it's hot and it's almost like a syrup at the end. So I'm gonna add 2 more ice cubes. And I'm gonna press some lemon juice and coffee. That's the Algerian way, The lemon with the sugar, it will cut the amertume of the coffee, if you think about it. Up. I like to add the lime and lemon. So I squeeze the lime and lemon, and I'm adding some crushed ice. If you look at this, it almost feels like it's a coffee lemonade. So this is the Mazran iced coffee, Algerian iced coffee with the lemon wedge. They usually bring lemon wedge on the side in case if you want it more sour. It tastes so good. This is really the best iced coffee. I make it look so pretty and sexy, but yeah. There you go. Cheers, guys.
The coffee I'm going to make, growing up, we called it Tik Tik coffee. And the reason it's called Tik Tik coffee in my household is because of the sound it makes when we're kind of making this coffee. A lot of kids kind of are given the responsibility of making it, and probably is like an entryway into learning how to cook. All right, so I'm gonna take the regular Nescafe coffee. I like my coffee strong, so I'm gonna do like a couple of big heap spoons. The thing is that you cannot make this sugarless. So like for this one, you do need to add sugar to it. The sugar helps makes the emulsion, so it'll come together really nicely. So like just a little bit of water in here. So it's changing color. Instant coffee like melts really quickly. Oh my God, look at that. It's like almost white in color. All right, that's good. So I'm gonna heat up the milk because we wanna make it warm. I have about 8 ounces in here. So I'm gonna do slightly less because I want like a little bit of water in there because I like mine slightly lighter. So I'm gonna pour a little bit in here and then pour that in the cup. So you'll see it like basically melts. I generally make it for 2 people. So I think coffee also always make 2. And then you enjoy them. Oh, so good. like smoky and sweet and milky and tasty and light and hot.
Growing up, green tea has always been a top drink option in Chinese culture for adults, not coffee. But growing up, we had these instant coffee. They are very delicious, but people really want to sometimes taste it for a sense of nostalgia. I think they're having a comeback. So this is also called 3-in-1. So you can kind of guess. There's a coffee, there's creamer, and then sugar in it. So you don't need anything else besides water. So it's super easy to make. Just open the packet, pour it into a coffee mug, and then pour some hot water, and then stir. All right, I'm gonna have a sip. It's very hot. I actually haven't had this in a long time. It's really good. It's a bit sweet for me now, but treat it as a dessert drink after meals, and it's perfect.
Turkish coffee is so important in Turkish culture that it is pretty much in every part of life. From daily routines to wedding ceremonies, it's kind of the first coffee that came out to the Western world. Apparently, most of the people around the world didn't like coffee so much, except for the Ottomans. Ottomans thought, oh, this is amazing. They figured out a way to use those bitter beans. They roasted them and they cooked it in a pan. Okay, so the Turkish coffee has to be medium roasted and finely ground coffee. It needs to be so fine it feels almost like flour. It's probably as fine as it gets. It's hard to grind this fine in a home grinder, so people generally buy them grounded already. It's going to be one of the strongest coffees. That's why we want a medium roast. So when we're making Turkish coffee, first of all, we want to measure the water. And we use the Turkish coffee mug to measure our water because this is going to give us an exact amount. A teaspoonful of coffee per mug, maybe a little more, just to make my mom happy. At this point, you don't want to really stir it. Very light heat, you want to cook it slowly. So this is the biggest difference between Turkish coffee and every other coffee, that we're going to actually cook the coffee in this pot. We're trying to keep the grounds at the bottom, and that's why you want also very light heat. You don't want to burn the grounds. But as it starts to boil, actually those grounds will disperse in the water nice and evenly. And then they will fall back down in the cup. So the trick of this is you want a little bit of coffee foam on top of the coffee. They say that's the skill of the coffee maker. That's why the brides-to-be are tested with their coffee making skills. Now my coffee is coming up to a boil slowly. I'm gonna pour a little bit on each cup. I'm trying to pour the foam in. I'm gonna bring it back up to boil. So every time the coffee boils, it comes up, the foam comes up. And you never drink Turkish coffee alone. That's why I made 2 cups. Turkish coffee, just like espresso, should always serve with a cup of water. It's to cleanse your palate before you take a sip, and also to ease your palate up a little bit after you finish drinking. It's a skill to drink Turkish coffee because the grounds are still in it. So that's why you should drink it slowly with slow sips and try to not get the coffee grounds in your mouth. But if you do, it's fine. It's just more flavor.
I'm gonna make a café de olla. This is a very traditional way to drink in Mexico. I'm from Oaxaca, so the way I'm used to drink the café de olla is with instant coffee, cinnamon, and piloncillo. Today we're gonna make it in this stainless steel pot. And that's the modern way to make café de olla here. I'm gonna turn on the stove on a medium-high heat and let it get hot. Now that the water is boiling, I'm gonna add the cinnamon and I'm gonna add the piloncillo to the water. It's unrefined sugar. It's sweet, but it also has like a caramelized flavor. Okay, now that the piloncillo it's all blended with the water, now I'm gonna add the coffee and turn the heat a little bit lower. In Mexico, we produce a lot of coffee, but I don't know why we drink instant coffee in the majority instead of like the beans and grinding. It's very easy just to like make and then serve. Why we like to drink it in a bowl instead of like a cup, it's because we like to dip the bread and eat it with the coffee. It reminds me very much at home, just in the mornings, walking into the kitchen and seeing the hot pot over there, and it's really nice.
Coffee in Ecuador, instant coffee is the most popular coffee in Ecuador. But now, lately, in the last few years, Ecuador has been rising in the coffee world. So we're getting a lot of coffee starting to get exported into the States. We are able to grow one of the finest coffees in Ecuador. Why? Because we're right in the center of the world. That means that we have the sun the most throughout the year. So it allows us to grow more coffee throughout the whole seasons. Today, we're gonna make a coffee that's from Loja. Loja is a highland of Ecuador. It's a medium blend. And that's what we're gonna use to do my mom's recipe. What she did was she boiled water with some cinnamon sticks and some anise, and it created a great aroma. It brings me back when I was little, and I would have coffee, have my first cup of joe before I went to grade school. If you're Ecuadorian, you do have coffee when you're 5 and above. We're gonna boil some water, and then we're gonna add some cinnamon sticks and some anise. Anise, we're gonna drop about maybe 4 or 5 pieces. It doesn't have to be too much. And the cinnamon stick is from Ecuador. So it's a little different than what you pick up at your regular bodega, but it's also very strong. So something like this, we're just gonna add maybe a little flake or a little particle, not the whole thing. We're gonna try to do sort of a medium grind. In this instance, I'm gonna do a pour over coffee method. So this is something that I think people use in a lot of different countries, but there's something I did grow up with. It looks like a sock, but it's not a sock. What it allows you to do is just a regular basic method of pouring coffee. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring over the sock right over the mug, and we're gonna drop the water in a circular motion slowly. You could even drop the sock inside the mug. I personally like coffee black with a little bit of sugar. As soon as you bring the mug towards your nose, you get a little bit of aromatics. You could smell the cinnamon sticks and also the anise. And with the coffee, it blends so nicely. And you don't need milk. Cheers, or salud. Delicious, delicious, just like I remember, delicious. That's good.
I love it.
Tastes like home.
Bon appétit.
Fortune telling. How did I forget this? It's the most important. My mom would kill me if she sees this video and I'm not mentioning. Once you're done drinking your coffee, you need to put the saucer upside down on top of your mug, and then you shake your mug or swirl it. And then with one motion, you flip it. And then someone with extreme skills is going to read your coffee ground. And I see someone on a horse, and I see a woman at the crossroads. I see a man with a uniform. Oh, and then there's birds that are bringing news. Now I have to remember. This is exactly what my mom would have said.